الله وبركاته. Math grade 5. We are in chapter 10. We want to learn today how to estimate products of fractions. How to estimate products of fractions. See with me now this video.
Chapter 4, Lesson 1, Estimate Products of Fractions. You will be able to estimate the products of fractions. You have already used compatible numbers to estimate quotients. You can also use compatible numbers to estimate products. Estimate 1/4 times 13. When we're talking compatible numbers, you want a number, your whole number, compatible with your denominator. So 13 is closest to which multiple of 4? And remember, you want the closest one. Well, 12 is close to 13, and 12 is compatible with 4. 12 is a multiple of 4. So really what we're doing here is 1/4 times 12. Now, 12 we want written as a fraction, so we're going to put it over 1. Any whole number as a fraction is over 1. From here to multiply fractions, multiply across. 1 times 12 is 12. 4 times 1 is 4. Our last step here is to reduce this. Now, fractions are the same thing as division. So really this is 12 divided by 4, which is 3. Letter B. Estimate 2/5 of 11. What number is closest to 11 that's a multiple of 5? That would be 10. So we are doing 2/5 times 10. And again, we want that over 1 to make it a fraction. Multiply across. 2 times 10 is 20. And your denominators, 5 times 1 is 5. Fractions are division, so 20 divided by 5 is 4. Estimate 1/5 of 16. I want a multiple of 5 that's the closest to 16. That would be 15. So we are doing 1/5 times 15, again putting it over 1. 15 times 1 is 15, and 5 times 1 is 5. Fractions are division, so 15 divided by 5 is 3. Letter D. Estimate 5/6 of 13. I want a multiple of 6 that's closest to 13, and that would be 12. So 5 over 6 times 12 over 1. Multiply your numerators. 5 times 12 is 60, and 6 times 1 is 6 for your denominator. Fractions are division. 60 divided by 6 equals 10. Letter E. Estimate 3/4 of 23. A multiple of 4 that's closest to 23 is 24. So 3/4 times 24 and put it over 1. 24 times 3, I'm going to do off to the side here. 3 times 4 is 12, carry the 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 72. So our numerator is 72. Our denominator, 4 times 1 is 4. And again, fractions are division, so 72 divided by 4. 4 goes into 7 once, minus 4 is 3. Bring down the 2. 4 into 32, 8 times, minus 32 is 0. So 72 divided by 4 is 18. Letter F. Estimate 1/8 times 15. Compatible numbers would be 8 and 16. So we have 1/8 times 16 over 1. Multiply your numerators. 1 times 16 is 16. And your denominators, 8 times 1 is 8. Fractions are division, so 16 divided by 8 is 2. Estimate 2/5 of 26. My compatible numbers would be 5 and 25. So 2/5 times 25 over 1. 2 times 25 is 50 for your numerator. And your denominator, 5 times 1 is 5. And fractions are division, so 50 divided by 5 is 10. Letter H. Estimate 1/4 of 21. 4 is closest to, or 4's compatible number is 20, and 20 is closest to 21. So 1/4 times 20 over 1 equals, your numerators, 1 times 20 is 20, and your denominators, 4 times 1 is 4. Fractions are division, 20 divided by 4 is 5. If the numerator of a fraction between 0 and 1 is almost as large as the denominator, round up. If the numerator is much smaller than the denominator, round down. So here we're going to multiply fractions, of course, by estimating. And we're either going to say 0, 1/2, or 1. So for example, if you had 7/8, that 7 and 8 are really close together, the numerator and denominator. So we would say that's really close to 1. With 1/8, 1 and 8 are very far apart. Therefore, we'd say 1/8 is closest to 0. And 5/8, it's right in the middle because half of 8 is 4, and that's pretty close to 5, so we would round that to 1/2. And then we're going to multiply. So for example, letter A, estimate 1/3 times 7/9. Well, 1/3 is pretty far away, so I would estimate that to be 0 times 7/9 is pretty close. 7 and 9 are pretty close together, so I would say that's closest to 1. And 0 times 1 is 0. Remember, anything times 0 is 0. Letter B, estimate 1/9 times 4/5. 1/9 is closest to 0, and 4/5 is closest to 1. Estimate half of 8 is 4, so I say that's close to 1/2. And 9/10, it's only 1 away, so that's really close to 1. And 1/2 times 1 is 1/2. Letter D, 5/6 is pretty close to 1. And 9/10 is also close to 1. 1 times 1 is 1. Estimate 5/6 times 1/9. 5 over 6 is close to 1 times 1/9 is closest to 0. 1 times 0 is 0. Letter F. Estimate 1/5 times 8/9. 1/5 is close to 0. 8/9 is close to 1. Multiply them together, and you get 0. Now this is a little tricky because we have mixed numbers here. So we cannot forget about our 6 and our 4, our whole numbers. So 6 would come down, and 2/3 is really close to 1. So I'm just going to put a 1 there for now. And over here, 1/5 is really close to 0. So really what we're going to do with our whole number and our estimated number is add them together. So 6 plus 1 is 7. So 6 and 2/3, we really want to know, is it closer to 6 or 7? Well, it's closer to 7 times. 4 and 1/5, 4 plus 0 is 4. 4 and 1/5 is closest to 4. So when you have mixed numbers, think to yourself, is it closest to 6 or 7? And this one, is it closest to 4 or 5? And we figure that out by looking at our fraction. So 7 times 4 is 28. Let's do another example. Letter H. We have 24 and 1/6 and 9 and 2/3. 1/6 is pretty close to 0, so I would say that the 24 stays the same. Over here, 2/3 is pretty close to 1, so I'm going to add 1 to 9 and say this is pretty close to 10. So 9 and 2/3 is close to 10. 24 times 10 is 240. Now, if you take a look here, let me show you another method. If we take a look at a number line, okay, we have the number 24 and 1/6. So here's 24, and here's 25. If we break this into 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay, 24 and 1/6 would be here. Is it closer to 24 or 25? It's closest to 24. Let me show you with 9 and 2/3. So we have 9 and 10. We have to break it up into thirds. So this would be 1/3, 2/3, and of course 3/3. 9 and 2/3 is over here, and it's closest to 10. Therefore, we rounded it up to 10. So if it helps, take a look at a number line to help you decide how to round it.
So today we want to learn how to estimate products of fractions. How to estimate products of fractions. As you see here in this example, here we have a product. Product means multiplication. Multiplication. Here we have fraction. Here we have a whole number. How to estimate this product? How to estimate this product? And here the same idea. Here we have whole number. Here we have a product, and here we have a fraction. How to estimate this idea? So see with me now this video.
All right, sixth graders, I hope either you're having a great Labor Day weekend, or I hope you have one whenever you're watching this video. This estimating products by fractions. So we're going to be looking at 3 different cases. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to use what's called compatible numbers. Now, we've used compatible numbers in estimations before and last year. Compatible numbers are not necessarily rounding. Compatible numbers are, let me find a number that really works in my situation so that I can do the math and do it easily. So when estimating the product of a fraction and a whole number, what we're going to do is we're going to find the closest multiple of the denominator to the whole number. So if my problem is 1/4 times 23, where 4 is my denominator and 23 is my whole number, the closest multiple of 4 to 23 is 24, because 4 times 6 is 24. So to solve that, I would change 23 to 24 and go through the process. Then we're going to use a bar diagram to find the answer. So example 1, we want to estimate 1/4 times 13. Estimate 1/4 times 13. So here's what we're going to do. 13 won't go into 4, but the closest multiple of 4 to 13 is 12. So I'm going to change 13 to 12 because it is the closest compatible number. What makes this number compatible is now, since it is a multiple of 4, that makes it divisible by 4. So using my bar diagram, 1, 2, 3, divide into 4 sections because that's my denominator. 12 divided by 4 is equal to 3. So each of these sections has a value of 3. And then I'm looking to find my answer. I just need one section. So 3 is one section. So my answer is 3. So the key thing here is changing the whole number to a compatible number that is the closest multiple of the denominator. Example 2, 2/5 times 11. So I need to change my whole number to a compatible number. Well, what is the closest multiple of 5? Well, 10 is the closest multiple of 5. Change 11 to 10. And now I'm going to solve using my bar graph. So my whole distance is equal to 10. And now I'm going to divide this into 5 sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To find the value of each section, I take 10 and divide it by 5, which gives me 2 this time. So each of these sections has a value of 2. And then my numerator tells me I need 2 of these sections to find my answer. So 2 times 2 is equal to 4. So my estimate of 2/5 times 11 is about 4. All right, you try this one. 1/5 times 16. Pause the video and then come back and we'll check your work. Okay, so the closest multiple of 5 to 16 is 15. So the whole bar represents 15. Divide my bar into 5 sections. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So each of these, 15 divided by 5 is 3. That's what I want. 15 divided by 5 is 3. So each of these sections has a value of 3. And to find my answer, I only need one of them because my numerator is 1. So my answer is about 3. Try this one. Closest multiple of 6 to 13 should have been 12. So this whole section represents 12. Then divide into 6 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 12 divided by 6 is 2, so each of these is equal to 2. I need 5 of these sections to find my answer. And I have 2 in each, so 5 times 2 gives me 10. So the answer to this one is 5/6 times 13 is about 10. Estimating 3/4 times 23. The closest multiple of 23 to 4 is 24. So now I'm going to draw my bar diagram. 24 is the whole number. So now I divide 24 by 4 to get 6. So I'm going to divide this into 4 sections, and each section has a value of 6. So now I need 3 of them to find my estimation value, and 6 times 3 is equal to 18. So my answer of 4/3 times 23 is about 18. All right, so when we're multiplying two fractions together, we can estimate by rounding them either to 0, 1/2, or to 1. So what you're going to do is you look at the number and say, what will be the best to round it to get my answer? Well, 1/3 is close to 1/2. 7/9 is close to 1 because it is closer to 9 than it is 4.5. So 7/9 is closer to 1. So 1/2 times 1, well, anything times 1 is 1/2. Anything times 1 is itself, so 1/2 times 1 would be 1. So this would be about 1/2. So your turn, try this one. 5/8 times 9/10. All right, 5/8 is close to 1/2. 9/10 is close to a whole, so you should have got 1/2 for this one. Try this one. 5/6 times 9/10. This one, 5/6 is close to 1. 9/10 is close to 1, so 1 times 1 is 1. So the estimation of this would be 1. 5/6 and 1/9. 5/6 is 1, but 1/9 is close to 0. So actually, this is about 0. It's not exactly 0. It's something, but it's closer to 0 than it is any of the other answers, possible answers that we want to estimate. So 5/6 times 1/9 is close to nothing. All right, for the last example, we're going to multiply some mixed numbers and estimate the area of a flower bed that has a length of 14 7/8 times 6 1/8. So to do this, I need to round. I'm going to actually round these to their nearest whole number. So 14 7/8 is almost to 15. It's almost to the next whole number because 7 is greater than half of 8. Half of 8 is 4. Half of 1/8 is 4 once again, but 1 is less than 4. So 6, I'm going to keep it where it is. So that's why I round this one to 15 because 7 is greater than half of 8. So I know this is closer to 15 than it is 14. And 1 is less than half of 8. And that is closer to 6. So 15 times 6. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 1 is 6. Times 3 is 90. So the answer is about 90 units squared. Since it's an area, it's about 90 units squared. All right, that concludes this lesson. On Tuesday in class, we'll do some more work with estimations.
أستاذ
Yes.
ما أقدر أشوف شيء.
Okay, listen to this example. Here we have example
بس
1.
أشوف.
Estimate the product. We have here 2/3 multiplied by 13. How to estimate the product? The product means multiplication. Go to the whole number and try to change whole number to the number can be divided by 3. The number can be divided by 3. The number who can
أستاذ صبر
divide
بس بعيد قلم بسرعة زين.
the number who can divide by 3. The name of this number compatible. So the first step, what number is close to 13 and also compatible with 3. So I can change 13 to the 12 because 12 can be divided by 3. So right here the same fraction, 2 over 3, multiply by, change here, we can round 13 to the 12 because 12 can be divided by 13. 12 and 3 compatible. So how to multiply whole number by fraction? Multiply the whole number by the numerator, 12 times 2 over 3. 12 times 2 over 3. 12 times 2 will be 24. 24 divided by 3, 24 divided by 3 will be 8. 24 divided by 3 will be 8. The example here, we have 17 multiply 1 over 4. Go to the whole number and change the whole number to the compatible number with 4. What's the meaning of compatible number with the 4? Number who can divide by 4. So I can choose 16. I can change 17 to the 16. So the first step, what number is close to 17 and also compatible with 4? So I can change 17 to the 16. Multiply by the same fraction here, 1 over 4. How to multiply 16 by 1 over 4? Multiply the whole number by the numerator. 16 multiplied by 1 over 4. 16 multiplied by 1 will be 16. 16 divided by 4 will be 4. So the estimate here will be 4. When you have two fractions, here we have two methods. It's up to you. Here you have it's up to you. You can estimate the two fractions and just you can estimate one. It's up to you. So 1 over 9, the estimate of 1 over 9 will be 0. In my example, I just estimate 7 over 8. The estimate of 7 over 8 will be 1. And here keep the same number, 1 over 9. 1 times 1 over 9 will be 1 over 9. Or I can estimate 7 over 8 will be 1 times 1 over 9 estimate 0. So the answer will be 0. So you can estimate at this idea and you can estimate at this idea, no problem. It's up to you.
خالد نسوي اجتماع ويتصل على الكل.
Repeat please.
خالد أستاذ مسوي اجتماع وقاعد يتصل.
Khalid? Okay. In this example, we have mixed number. How to estimate the mixed number? In the first mixed number, go to the number here, 2 over 3, and try to estimate 2 over 3. And see here 2 very close to the 3. The estimate here will be 1. 1 plus 2 will be 3. The estimate here 1 over 6 will be 0. 0 plus 3 will be 3. So 3 times 3 will be 9. 3 times 3 will be 9. So this is the meaning of estimate the product. And here we have some videos. When you have free time, you can watch these videos. And this is our lesson today. Now, who has a question?
Nobody.
What is the name of our lesson today?
Product of numbers. Compatible fraction. Or fractions.
Estimate
Fractions.
product.
Estimate product of fractions.
Okay, great. So when you have fraction and number, change the number to the compatible with the denominator.
Yes.
When you have fractions,
Yeah.
when you have two fractions,
Yes.
you can estimate the two fractions. This is the first idea, or you can just estimate one of the two fractions.
Okay.
This is our lesson today.
Yeah.
Let us to take attendance now.
Yes. Boys first.
Khalid, silent. Silent. And you are noisy, very noisy, huh? I know what did you. اي طالب ما بده يلتزم بدي يطالعه برا الحصه، نحن بقلب الدرس عم تعمل لي اتصالات مع زملائك والشات. لمين نحن عم نشرح؟ هي اخر مره بسمع لك فيها تتساوي الامر هذا. نسيل. نسيل.
Here, Mister.
يازيا.
Here, Mister.
جود.
Here, Mr. Here, Mr.
ريناد. ريناد.
Mr. ريناد موجودة.
Where I want to hear her voice. Where is Rinad? So absent. Shamsa. Rawda.
Here, Mr.
Okay, Shamsa here. Rawda. rawda.
مستر ريناد موجودة بس المايك عندها خربان.
بدي اسمع صوتها بنتي. كلامي واضح، إذا ما سمعت صوتها بتصلح المايك، صرت منبه 1000 مرة. ما في عذر اسمه مايك عطلان. مو على كيفكم المايك بيشتغل والمايك بيعطل. هذا الكلام غير مقبول. إذا ما سمعت صوت الطالب بشكل صريح غياب. شيخة.
Yes.
شيخة بدر.
Yes. Mr.
عليا خالد. عليا. عليا. عليا خالد. لطيفة.
Yes, Mr.
ماريا خلف. ماريا خلف.
Yes. Yes, I am here.
Okay. ماريا خلف here. مروة. مروة ناصر.
Here.
مريم. مريم.
Yes. Yes.
مهرب
Mr.
فيصل.
Juwaili.
Yes, you can. مهرب فيصل.
Yes.
مهرة فيصل.
Yes, Mr.
مو سعيد. موزة. مو سعيد.
Yes, Mr. نعم مستر.
نغم.
مستر.
نورة. نورة. نورة نورة ظافر الأحبابي. نورة. اوكي. هاجر.
Yes, Mr.
مهرة خلفان.
Yes, Mr.
Okay. You can leave the girls. All girls, you can leave. Okay, بطي.
نعم أستاذ.
عارف.
نعم أستاذ.
حمد علي.
نعم أستاذ.
منصور علي.
موجود.
دان أحمد.
نعم أستاذ.
خالد خليل.
نعم أستاذ.
دانيال.
اللي تقول اسمه يروح.
يروح. دانيال.
يس.
زايد. 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 absent. سعيد.
نعم أستاذ.
سلطان علي.
نعم أستاذ.
سلطان غازي.
مستر.
سلطان غازي.
مستر.
سلطان غازي.
مستر أحمد.
عامر أحمد.
نعم أستاذ. نعم أستاذ.
عبد الله محمد.
نعم أستاذ. أستاذ عاد أطلع.
اطلع. عبد الله راشد.
باي.
عبد الله راشد.
نعم.
عبد الله الجابري. عبد الله الجابري. عبد الله الجابري. عبد الله الجابري. عبد الله الأحبابي. عبد الله مسعود. عبد الله مسعود. عمر أشرف.
نعم أستاذ.
أوكي. عمر الشامسي. عمر الشامسي. عمر الشامسي. فلاح.
نعم.
مايد.
نعم.
نعم.
اوكي. محمد احمد.
نعم أستاذ.
محمد سعيد.
نعم أستاذ.
محمد سهيل.
نعم أستاذ. نعم عبد الله موجود.
عبد الله مين؟
عمر عبد الله.
الشامسي.
هي أستاذ.
طيب. طاوع.
نعم أستاذ.
معاذ.
Here.
Okay, thank you. So this is our lesson today.
مستر
Yes.
مستر أنا ريناد، بس أنا هلا حضرتكم الحصة، بس أنا عندي طفل كمبيوتر شحن.
انت ريناب؟
طفل كمبيوتر هلا شحن.
طيب ماشي يلا. Okay, this is our lesson today. Thank you for your listening. Have a nice day and have a nice weekend. See you next week إن شاء الله. And رمضان كريم، رمضان مبارك إن شاء الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.